Have you had a setback or something challenging come up for you, and then it's really meant bad things for you and it's really impacted your self-esteem? Well, today I'm going to talk about why the meaning you put to things is everything. Welcome back to the podcast and thank you for being here today. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, a new friend, actually, a new close friend who I've met in one of my new communities. And she's awesome. Me and her got on really well. And we were chatting about the content, what we're learning back and forth. And we've kind of like shared a little bit of our personal lives, including our past, like dating, relationship, all that kind of thing, right? And yeah, me and her were having quite an open, vulnerable conversation. That's what you can do with good friends. And yeah, like I started sharing, challenges I've had, being very open about it with my dating and relationships. In that, I'm not married, I've not got kids, never been engaged, never had a serious, long-term relationship. And I was very open about it. And yeah, I realized I was putting some meaning to it that was disempowering. I was like, even though I'm usually away from the social norms and like to be my own person, I realized there was a little bit of me being like, oh my God, I should be married and with kids or this kind of thing. Or certainly had like a long-term commitment, like being with someone for, a few years, I felt like I should have been, which I've not. And I felt like the meaning I was putting to it was like, oh, this is not normal. There must be something wrong, even though I've done all this work on myself, right? I can catch myself. And actually, the choices I've made, I'm pretty proud. Like to not commit to someone that didn't feel right, or, walking away when they weren't sure about me or anything like that. Sometimes it's just not falling for me. And the meaning I was putting to it was like, oh, I'm not good enough. And there's been many times like I put a meaning when someone's not, I've liked someone maybe in dating even recently and they've not quite felt the same, or she's not quite felt the same. And I've like put the meaning as like, what's wrong with me? And that's not a very good meaning. That's not the most recent meaning I put to it, but in the past I would have put that kind of meaning, certainly a few years ago. And that really impacts self-esteem, I believe, the meaning you put to things. The meaning could be, for example, while we're on a dating relationship, because I know it's so hot for many people, and, I'm not here as, definitely don't come to me for marriage advice or long-term serious relationship advice, because I've not experienced either of those things. But like, for me, lots of people are like, oh, he didn't want me, she didn't want me, they didn't want me. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing that? Maybe the meaning is an opportunity to grow and work on yourself to find someone. And for me, what I've like realized is actually there's like an area of growth when perhaps someone just suddenly sort of goes to me, or just that hasn't happened too much, but suddenly, change their tune from dramatically high to low. I used to put it meaning like, oh, I've messed up, but actually maybe there's something going on with her. And the meaning I put into it is like, okay, that's interesting. I've attracted that into my life, that kind of energy. What do I have to look at inside to really up my self-love even more? And that's a much more empowering meaning. How can I love myself even more? Right? Or like people lose a job, it's like I'm useless, I'm pathetic, and I've lost a job before, and it's like I'm pathetic, I'm a loser. But actually, maybe the meaning's I'm being guided as something better for me. So we're always choosing the meaning, and the meaning we put, I think, is really important for our relationships with ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. So I want to go through a few points that have really helped me with the meaning that you can take. And it's kind of, rather than points, it's more kind of a step-by-step process that I want to give to you. But ask yourself this: have you been giving yourself the right meaning when something challenging happens, even if it's small? Or have you been giving yourself an empowering meaning? Because I've certainly given myself disempowering meanings and it doesn't help. So here are a few points for you, or steps for you for working through the meaning. Number one, when something challenging happens, state what happens. And I mean literally what happens. No stories attached. So for example, let's use a couple. Someone breaks up with you. People will go into this and say, this is what happened. Oh, the bitch broke up with me. Oh, the bastard, he broke up with me. They're horrible. They mistreated. No. That's not what we're talking about here. What literally happened. We broke up. That's what happened, right? Stay with me here. That's the situation. Before we go into any meaning, before we go into any story, it's like you're no longer together with someone. That's what literally happened, okay? You lose a job. That's another one. I lost a job. That's really hard, really struggling. And I'm not saying none of this isn't true, by the way, the meaning you'll put into it, but it's like what literally happened. You no longer have a job. That's what literally it is. So we look at the situation first of all, and it's just to isolate it of what the situation is. And then second, what that literally means. Like the relationship means you're no longer together with someone before you put your meaning or things on it. The job means you no longer have a job. Could lose a business. It means you no longer have that business. That's what it means, literally, right? Before we go into the stories and what we put on it. And then the third question we do bring in the story is like, what are you making it mean? Well, so you take these steps one by one. So say it's the relationship one, right? You broke up with someone, which means you're no longer in a relationship with them. And what you're making that mean is that you're really angry at them because you feel like you've given them so much. You feel a little bit worthless because of all the effort you've put in. So that's what you're making it mean. So when you can start seeing that and the automatic meaning we can put in it, because someone else could come in, you know, I've seen people who have, one of my teachers, when he broke up with someone, he'd been with her for years, he said the meaning he put to it was like, yeah, it's time that we go our different paths and we find someone else. That's a completely different meaning to like, oh, what a bitch, what a bastard. Oh, they did all that. Now, they may have done some hurtful things, but just go with me on that. But just say what you're literally making it mean, right? And then the fourth question, the final one, is what can I choose to make it mean? This is an opportunity for you to go in depth a little bit more, even if you might not like it, inside yourself and understand yourself a little bit more. It may be an opportunity to find some more suitable people in your life. In the job one, it might be an opportunity for you to discover what you love. So when you ask yourself that, think about how empowering that is, right? Because you can get very charged when you just start automatically going to your like story. And I'm not saying any of it's not true, but for me, this really, really helps. So let's go through the whole example again in the breakup scenario, right? Look at the situation. Okay, what happened? You broke up with someone, right? Second one, what literally that means? You're no longer with them in a relationship, or you're dating them, you're no longer dating them, right? What are you making it mean? I'm making it mean, if it's a bad one, I'm a bit worthless. Nobody ever wants me, which is a generalization. I'm helpless. They gave me mixed signals. They're a bitch. They're a bastard. Whatever. Like that's the meaning you're putting to it. And then I didn't even have to do this through myself a lot, right? Just being honest. I'm talking about what works for me. Fourth one. Yeah. What can I make it mean? Well, maybe if this situation has happened before, maybe it's an opportunity for me to really explore inside of myself what I need to address and love that's bringing this situation into my life. Or it could mean, oh, well, it's really an opportunity for me to find a new group of people to hang out with to make me feel even more awesome. So those are my steps on how to choose a more empowering meaning to therefore build a better relationship with yourself and therefore better self-esteem. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. And remember to lead with your heart, not with fear.